Jenna, and this is the Burton Restricted Malavita EST binding. This is a great binding for your advanced, aggressive park rider who's really looking for a binding that's just packed with features and packed with options for customizing the fit and the feel of the binding. So to start, again, this is the EST. So we've got the two kind of tracks right here which allow you to mount this binding to any Burton ICS board. One of the really cool things about using an EST binding on the ICS board is you're minimizing some of the weight by not using a disc in the binding. You cut out on a lot of materials within the base plate of the binding, and you're also really giving yourself a better feel of the board because of the lack of the extra materials, because you're giving yourself more of a direct connection to the board and really allowing yourself the ability to transfer that energy without losing any of it. So let's talk about the strap on this binding because it's pretty unique. The strap on this binding is a park-specific asymmetrical super strap. Sounds like a lot, but let's start off with the super strap part of it because that's a strap found on a lot of the Burton bindings, some of the other Burton bindings as well. So what you've got is a 3D shape to it, so it's going to make for a really comfortable fit. You've also got the triple axis spine in it, which is going to make for a very responsive feel while also giving you the appropriate flex that you need. And then you've got this neo padding, which is a neoprene that runs through the strap of the binding, allowing the binding to flex while keeping the binding durable, maintaining that flex and that feel without the binding having any issues with durability there. So next, this strap is asymmetrical. So as you can see, it looks a little bit different. The buckle of the binding's a little bit lower on the strap. The strap's real narrow over here and real wide over here. So not only does it make for a little bit of a more comfortable ergonomic fit, but it's cool because you can actually swap this strap with the strap on your other binding. You flip them, then you're getting a little bit different of a shape to the binding because the buckle is coming up a little bit higher on you, where most of the padding will be a little bit lower on your boot. And what this does is you can actually switch between a more supportive feel or a more flexible, mobile feel. So if you're getting real aggressive, hitting some bigger jumps, stuff like that, you want that extra support, you can actually flip it, ride it like that. Or if you're looking for a little more flex, a little more mobility, you can ride it how the binding is. So that's a pretty unique feature of the strap of this binding. Next we have the Get a Grip cap strip on this binding. And what that allows you to do is, obviously you're riding with this strap over the toe of your boot. You ride it over the toe to really draw your boot back into the binding, as well as minimize the pressure points that you can get from really cranking down over the toe of your boot. So the materials used in this strap are very grippy, really allow you to kind of grab the toe of your boot, draw yourself back in, but a lot of times when you ride a cap binding, you'll take a couple laps and you'll look down and the strap's on top of your boot because it slipped off. That grippy material found in the Get a Grip cap strip really stays put. You're not going to end up with it on top of your boot. It's going to stay where you put it and really allow you for that responsive feel and fit. You can also see that there's kind of a hole right here, and so this binding's made to really minimize the materials while still giving you that response that you need, which of course will cut down on the weight of the binding, which a lightweight binding makes for a great park binding, of course. Next we've got a Park Blend short glass nylon composite base. So what this does is it gives you strength but really keeps the base plate flexy, which is great for a lot of park riding. And the composite allows you to do that. Now the high back is pretty unique on this. You've got a single component canted high bed. So first of all, this high back on this binding is super lightweight, which is great. But then we've got some really unique things with some of the padding on it. You've got what they call these air pads right here, and they're little air pockets which really minimize some of that shock you might get between your high back and your boot when you're getting a little bit more aggressive out there. Next we've got a winged high back though, and that's where what makes this binding look a lot different than you might be used to. Not only is it asymmetrical and actually forms two, like your left or your right foot, but you've got this wing that kind of continues around the side of your boot. And what that does is it allows you to put a little bit more pressure on that and gain some of the control and the support if you're doing things like presses, butters, or spins. And giving you that extra control for you to then transfer to your binding allows you to do so better. We've got a pretty unique footbed on this as well. This is the Sensory footbed, and it runs throughout the length of the binding. But we've also got this B3 padding. If you can see there, it's this black padding in the toe and the heel. And what that is it's a material found in the higher end Burton boots, and it's great for absorbing shock. So again, this being a high-end park binding, great for landing some jumps, hitting some rougher terrain. It's really going to absorb that shock underfoot, where the padding that runs throughout the length of it will really help dampen that vibration if you are in a little bit more aggressive terrain, really pushing your binding a little bit harder. So one of the cool things about this binding too is it's made with reground materials, so it really reduces weight and makes for a very eco-friendly binding. But the name of the game here is really just a super lightweight, super tough, kind of do everything freestyle binding that really allows you to kind of customize it the way you need to. So again, this is the Burton Malavita restricted EST binding. Great aggressive binding for your advanced park rider, just looking for the ultimate binding to really customize their style of riding.